Hello and welcome back to another episode of Video Game Easter Eggs, the series where we take a look at some of the best Easter eggs video games have to offer. In today's episode, we take an extensive look at Call of Duty Modern Warfare, check out an early access game set in Chernobyl, and pop back into Plants vs Zombies for a slice of pizza. As always, I love hearing what Easter eggs you guys have found, and if you think you've found something that I haven't, then the best place to let me know is on Twitter or Instagram, the links to which are in the description. Oh, and I promise I'll stop doing this every video, but thank you for the support on the last video. Making the jump into fully voiced videos was a scary thought, but the reception that the last two videos has received has been way more than I could have hoped for. Anyway, without further delay, let's get started. So let's kick things off with Call of Duty Modern Warfare. In the previous episode, we covered the red balloon that could be found in the sewers on the docks map. What I failed to mention is the boat made of paper and the yellow raincoat next to the balloon. Both of these belong to Georgie, who was killed by Pennywise at the beginning of the film.
Hiya, Georgie. What a nice boat.
So, Modern Warfare 2019 is a reboot of the Modern Warfare series with several characters, including the legendary Captain Price, returning. Even though Modern Warfare is a reboot taking place before the events of the previous Modern Warfare games, there are several references to the previous entries in the Modern Warfare sub-series. First up is this line that can be heard during the Highway of Death mission.
Tasweebak Mumtaz.
I heard that.
So that line is a reference to the prologue of the original Modern Warfare.
Nice. Your fruit killing skills are remarkable.
The next campaign reference can be heard during the Piccadilly mission, just after you meet Price for the first time.
Check those corners.
So that was a reference to the prologue mission in the original Modern Warfare.
On my mark, go. Check those corners. Move. Check those corners.
Oh, and just out of interest, which Price do you prefer? The original COD 4 Price or the new Modern Warfare 2019 Price? I'll put a poll in the top right so you can vote. Personally, even though I like the old Price's voice actor, the new one feels more like a badass, but both are great. The final Modern Warfare reference in the campaign, well that I've found anyway, can be heard during the Eggcellent Going Dark mission.
You done in, Sergeant? On your feet, we are leaving!
So Price's words as he helped you up are a reference to this line from the prologue in COD 4.
Go now! Come in, damn it!
Big Bird, this is Bravo 6. We're on our way out. On your feet, soldier. We are leaving.
There are more potential nods to COD 4 in the campaign, but most of them are a bit of a stretch in my opinion, but if you think I did miss one, then please let me know. So let's stick with the Going Dark mission. Once you arrive at the estate, you have to battle your way to the top floor. You probably didn't stop to take in the sights as you fought your way through the house, but if you did, you may have noticed this. So this rather regal looking gentleman is actually Taylor Kurosaki, the narrative director at Infinity Ward. Once you actually reach the top floor of the estate, you must enter a code into the keypad. This is the code.
451.
So long-time viewers of this channel should be familiar with the 451 code. It's appeared in loads of other games, including Deus Ex Mankind Divided, the excellent Prey 2017, and the original Bioshock, to name just a few. The code itself is actually a reference to the iconic novel Fahrenheit 451, written by Ray Bradbury. Moving on to something that has me wondering how people actually discovered it. And no, it's not because it's an Easter egg that required tons of difficult steps to complete, it's because it requires you to repeatedly kill a civilian. During any mission where civilians are present, if you repeatedly take them out, this will happen.
Take your shots.
Hands up, now!
2-6, use the grenade. What the fuck are you doing? 2-6, use the... What the fuck are you doing? 2-6, use the...
So you get the "Are you serious?" message pop up and you're booted back to the campaign menu. As I said, which psychopath killed a civilian enough times to discover this message? Anyway, it's time for something a little more lighthearted now. During the Wolf's Den mission, you're tasked with clearing a house out in a scene that reminds me of the Eggcellent Zero Dark 30. After you've finished in the house, you have to head underground to track down the wolf. It's underground that we can find this. So, a teddy bear watching TV. Teddy bears have featured in multiple Call of Duty entries in the past, but the exact reasoning for them is unknown. Many believe that the teddies are there to commemorate the daughter of one of the dev team who sadly passed away, or are one of the art team's calling cards. It's also theorised that they were first used in the zombies mode and have snuck their way into other games since. I'm not 100% sure, and until someone on the COD dev team lets us know, I think we'll be left wondering for a long time yet. The final Easter egg in Modern Warfare, well, in this video at least, can be found on the embassy mission. When you head downstairs in the embassy, you can find a room full of servers. If you shoot the servers, this will happen. So, a recreation of the classic game Pong can be seen on one of the screens. Unfortunately, unlike the excellent Nuketown sign, which let you play classic Activision games, you can't take a break from all the gunfights and chaos to play a spot of Pong. So that does it for the Modern Warfare Easter eggs, but it's time to check out a game that I have high hopes for. Chernobylite is a survival horror game set in the infamous Chernobyl. You play as Igor, a physicist who was employed at Chernobyl before the devastating accident. The game is currently in early access, but even this small chunk of the game provides a couple of cool references to pop culture. The first of which is this.
Антон, мне не нравится такой раздолбайский подход к делу. Не разочаровывай меня. Хорошо, хорошо. Боже, чего ты такой серьезный?
So this could be a coincidence, but as soon as someone says why so serious, what's the first thing that comes to mind? Exactly, Sesame Street. No, of course not, this is a reference to this scene from The Dark Knight.
He turns to me and he says, "Why so serious?" He comes at me with the knife. "Why so serious?"
The next reference can be heard just before heading underground.
3, 6, да. Так себе, конечно, но не катастрофа.
So, 3.6, not good, not terrible, as a reference to a line said in the fantastic Chernobyl TV series.
What does the decimeter say?
3.6 Rontgen, but that's as high as the meter.
3.6. Not great, not terrible.
That's all I've found so far, but I have high hopes for the game, and that's what this series is all about, sharing Easter eggs from the games you may not have heard about, along with AAA blockbusters like Modern Warfare. Speaking of games you have never heard of, I will be very surprised if many of you, if any of you actually, have heard of this next game. Answer Not is a walking simulator that sees you exploring your living room, piecing together the story through items found in the room and messages left on the answer machine. It's in this room that we can find a couple of references to one of my favourite game series of all time. Underneath the TV, you can find this. So this notebook has Scotland, Indonesia and Nepal written on the front. If we open the book, we can find an entry dated the 24th of June 2003 which speaks of visiting Shambhala, though they were out of luck as the temples had been blown up after a treasure hunter had been seen in the area. So this entry is an obvious reference to the Uncharted franchise, more specifically Uncharted 2, which saw Nathan Drake head to Shambhala to track down the Sintamani stone before eventually stumbling upon the Tree of Life. The other locations mentioned on the front of the journal are also references to Uncharted, with Scotland being a location visited in Uncharted 4, Indonesia being visited in Uncharted 1, and Nepal obviously being the location of Shambhala. Answer Not is actually a free-to-play game that only takes a couple of hours to complete, so give it a try, even if it's just for the huge amount of references tucked away in the apartment. The final Easter egg in today's video was actually suggested to me by a follower on Instagram, so if you are watching JD, thanks for the heads up. In Plants vs Zombies Battle for Neighborville, if you load the game up before it's finished installing, you'll be thrown into a game against the AI. Before planting the generator and beginning the game, if you head to the left, you can find this. So stacks of pizza boxes and a mysterious green ooze. These are both pretty obvious references to the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, who love pizza, live in the sewer, and were transformed into Ninja Turtles after coming into contact with a mutagen that the turtles refer to as the ooze. So that's it for today. Going forward, this series is going to feature Easter eggs from any game that released in any year, the only criteria being is that I can't have used them in any other video. I don't quite see why I would limit myself to games released this year when there are tons and tons of fantastic Easter eggs that I'm yet to cover on this channel. If you're enjoying this series and enjoying the voiced over videos, then a like is massively appreciated. If you're a fan of Easter eggs and secrets in games, then perhaps consider subscribing, as that's what this channel is all about. Thank you all very much for watching, and I'll speak to you all soon.